Hi everyone, so today we have Praddyumn with us, and this video will be about IIIT Hyderabad and the PGEE examination. So hi Praddyumn, so would you like to give a quick intro?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Anjali, for having me on the channel. Hi, guys. I'm Praddyumn, and I passed out from IIIT Hyderabad last year. And I got a GATE AIR 1048 in my final year of preparation. I gave GATE twice, and then I gave PGEE to get into IIIT Hyderabad. Currently, I'm working with Amazon as a software development engineer one. Before this, I was with Samsung after my campus placements. So yeah, we'll be discussing about probably PGEE.
So first question is what was your motivation to prepare for this PGEE examination?
Yeah, so as I said, I got AIR 1048 in my final year attempt, and when I gave in my third year, it was 2300. So I could not improve a lot. I failed from my third year's rank, and with this 1048, I was probably getting the second generation IITs. And some background context is that I already had the offer from Cisco from my BTech placement. So I was working there in my final semester. So I was in the zone that I don't want to go to a second generation IIT. That was personally my opinion. And then before this, I had worked with Geeks for Geeks, where some of my internship mates were from IIIT Hyderabad. So I knew about the college, I knew about the curriculum. So I was well aware of how IIIT Hyderabad is. When and from most of the discussions that we had, we knew that if you're not getting the top 5 IITs, then IIIT Hyderabad is one of the colleges that you should target for, if fees was not a concern. So I just gave the exam. I didn't think much about the fees. I first thought, let me get the offer in hand, and then maybe I'll try to decide. So yeah, the poor rank in GATE is what I could say. What was the motivation?
Okay, so on that thing, I would say you got around 1000 rank. So why only triple IT Hyderabad? You had other options you could have done MS and MTech research interviews in any IITs or ISC, or you will be having other options too like triple IT Delhi, and there are other colleges like ISC Kolkata. So why only triple IT Hyderabad?
Yeah, so there were multitude of reasons behind this. Firstly, I was not inclined towards research. I had the option to even apply for ISC Bangalore as well for MS research, and but since, as I mentioned, I was mostly my plan was to dive deep into multiple subjects, which is not possible when you are doing research. You want to get to be specified in a niche field when you are doing a research. So that was the thing. I was not inclined toward MS programs. I was mainly looking for MTech degree. And the other reason why I preferred IIIT Hyderabad over other colleges was mainly because of the coding culture. When I was doing my BTech, I used to give my competitive programming contest, and I used to see that most of the ICPC, which is a like a Olympiad of this coding thing. So most of the students who qualified for world finals were from IIIT Hyderabad, some of the best coders. So I wanted to be a part of that culture, and it said that the curriculum of IIIT Hyderabad is even at par with IIT Bombay. So for me it was just about learning, and I was sure that this is the college which can provide me that. So I just gave PGEE. I wasn't looking for other opportunities. I got IIIT Hyderabad. Maybe if I could not have qualified PGEE, then the story would have been different. I would have tried for maybe some other colleges as well. But yeah, since I got it in the first round itself, so I was like, I want to go here.
Okay, great. So now let's just come to the PGEE examination. So can you brief about the syllabus and what this PGEE examination is about?
Yeah, so for the MTech admission in IIIT Hyderabad, they conduct their own exam, which is called PGEE, Postgraduate Entrance Examination, and they do not take in the GATE scores into consideration for admission into MTech. So PGEE, it happens mostly after around your GATE score is released, and the exam, it's the syllabus is at par with GATE. A few subjects like theory of computation and I think compiler design as well is not a part of PGEE. So they mainly focus on core CS subjects, databases, computer networks, and the DSA and all these things. And a lot of focus is given on aptitude actually in PGEE. So the thing is, in GATE you have a lot of time, but the questions are pretty hard. In PGEE it's opposite. You don't have a lot of time, but the number of questions is more. So you have to maintain your accuracy. Plus, as I said, aptitude is given a lot of weightage in PGEE. So the paper is divided in such a way that you have 50% part in aptitude and 50% technical. Unlike GATE, where only 15 marks out of 100 is given for aptitude. So, and both these sections are separate. The total duration of the exam is 3 hours, and 1.5 hour each is given to both the sections. And first section will be aptitude, and once you, until you do not complete the 1.5 hour into aptitude, you cannot go to the technical section. So this is a pivot which is possible in GATE. You can skim through the whole paper once. So this is the whole pattern. And usually since aptitude score is considered during the shortlisting of the process. So yeah, that's the whole thing.
Okay, so about this exam pattern, do you remember how many questions are there from aptitude and technical?
Yeah, I think there are 100 questions, 50 each. So 50 questions in aptitude, 1.5 hour, and once you complete, as soon as 1.5 hour is completed, it moves on, the window will automatically move to the technical section, and 50 questions are there in the technical section.
Okay, okay. Now coming to like how someone can prepare for this PGEE examination and how you prepared for that.
So, as I said, the syllabus is mostly GATE. In fact, it's a subset of the GATE syllabus. The only difference is that the weightage on aptitude is a lot here. So, I feel that if someone has prepared very well for GATE, he should be good enough to appear for PGEE. For example, in my case, I did not devote a lot of time separately for PGEE preparation. I knew that I had covered all the subjects for GATE, so I was confident on my preparation. It just did not go well on that D-day of the GATE exam, which happens with a lot of folks. So if you are prepared enough, I would say your preparation will not go in waste, and you will have around 2 to 3 months after GATE exam to prepare for PGEE. So if you have covered all the subjects, I would say that the 1 mark questions, so we have 2 mark and 1 mark questions in GATE. Since the time it's a little constrained in PGEE, the questions are not that hard, which would require you something like 5-6 minutes to solve a question. So the questions are on the easy level. I would compare them to the 1 mark questions of GATE. So if you have covered that enough, I think you should be good to go. You don't have to prepare anything apart from that.
Okay, so mainly you have to prepare like how you were preparing for GATE. Now coming to this aptitude, as you have said, like the time is limited for this aptitude section. So I'm asking like how someone can practice this aptitude and also the technical things like something kind of mock test or practice sets. So do you have any idea of these resources?
So at the time when I gave PGEE, it was 3 years back. At that time, I did not get a lot of resources for mock tests of PGEE, since it's just like at that time I feel it was not very popular. It has gained a lot of popularity in the last couple of years. So coming to the aptitude preparation, personally I was good at aptitude, so I didn't have to prepare anything specifically. The only thing I would suggest is try to cover as many type of aptitude questions as possible, because in GATE it just comes for 15 marks, so they are not able to cover lot of aspects. But since there will be 50 questions in PGEE, you can expect from almost every topic, ranging from logical reasoning to verbal reasoning, even mathematical. There will be I remember there were certain questions like this is a rectangle and a circle is colliding. So these kind of questions you usually don't see in gate exam. So for these kind of preparation, maybe IndiaBix is one of the websites which a lot of people also use for campus placement aptitude preparation. And then there is a book by for CAT preparation by Arun Sharma, I believe. If I might be wrong in the name, but I think it's by Arun Sharma. So you can have a look if you want to do a dedicated this. If you feel that your aptitude is not very strong, then maybe you can get that book. But IndiaBix would be more than enough. And if you feel that your aptitude is decent, then I would just say that prepare the GATE PYQs, 20 years PYQs. If you're done with GATE CSEs paper, then try to appear for attempt the other papers like GATE Civil, GATE Mechanical. They also have a lot of different kind of aptitude questions. So yeah, that's it. And regarding the mock test, I believe there are certain forums which have started preparing mock tests, because now they don't release the paper. PGEE, the IIIT Hyderabad Admission Council, they don't release the paper. So whatever is just remembered in the mind, that's how questions are drafted. So there are certain these platforms which have started this mock test from this year. So maybe you can just like do a simple Google search and you would get them.
All right. So now, like, did they take any interviews after this PGEE examination for the admission? And also, like, if you remember, approximately how many students appear for this exam and how many students got selected?
So they do not take an interview. They used to take interviews for MTech admission, I believe 2 years before our batch. But from our senior batch, I think the interviews were discontinued. So there are two programs in which you can get admission. One is the MTech, and MTech is done in three courses: computer science and information security, and the third one is product design and management. For product design and management, there's also a separate mode of admission if you have some startup experience in product domain. So they consider that as well. So this is the MTech admission, which I told you about. And then for the MS admission, they do still take an interview. And in the PGEE exam, the MS people just attempt the aptitude section. They do not attempt the technical. So after 1.5 hours, the people who are appearing for MS, they leave the exam center, and they have interviews, because I feel they are going to do thesis and their research under specific profs. So they get to choose the labs under which they want to do. So for MS, the interviews are still continued. And you asked some other question as well.
Yeah, like number of
Yeah.
candidates.
So sorry. IIIT Hyderabad is not transparent with that. They do not disclose the number of appearance. And but I can tell you around in our batch, around 111 people got selected. The ratio is somewhere 80 to 20% of CSE and CSIS. I'm not sure about the PDM numbers because mostly I was at our time, CSE and CSIS was the main thing. So around 100 to 110 people is somewhere people get shortlisted, out of which 80 to 85 are CSE and 25 are somewhere around CSIS.
All right. So talking about these MS interviews that you told, do you have any idea like what they ask in these MS interviews?
Yeah, so as far as I know, I'm not very sure, but from a few of the interactions which I had with MS students, they mostly told they're asked questions around their previous research experience, and plus the domain in which they want to do the research. So there are like different labs, as I mentioned in IIIT, machine learning lab, NLP lab, and computer vision lab. So depending on the domain in which you are applying to do your MS in the specific field within computer science, they'll try to test your fundamentals, and of course your gate fundamentals will be tested. So if you have to prepare for the gate subjects, along with that some more specific field knowledge in the research area that you are trying to apply, that will be asked. So for example, if you are applying for the ML research into like MS in CSE within machine learning, you should be good with maths and statistics and probability and all these things.
Okay. Uh, one more thing, one topic is being highlighted about IIIT Hyderabad, that is fees. So the fees is comparatively very high, that I have heard. Like I don't know much about that. So can you throw some light on that, like approximately how much fees is there and like how people manage it?
Yeah, so fees is definitely a concern. I mean, but the thing is, you have an first I'll tell you. So in our case, for me, it was mostly the academics plus the hostel and all the entire. This expenses were covered around 10 lakhs, but every year they are increasing the fee by some percentage. So currently, I think you can get all the details. They have the exact fee expenditure and the breakup on their website iithyderabad.ac.in. So over there you can get the exact breakup, and I think currently it should be around 12 to 14 lakhs, which is for 2 years including everything, your hostel and mess fees, and it's mandatory to stay in the hostels. So unlike some IITs, so everything is considered. And then coming on to, there are a lot of peoples who join IIIT Hyderabad despite having some financial burden. The reason is the return of investment is a lot, and you easily, so there's a State Bank of India branch within our campus, and they easily handle the entire loan process. So you just have to, if you are planning to take a loan, you just have to pay the first semester fees by yourself, and then from second semester onwards, they'll take care of everything. There's a very simple application process. Once you reach the campus, you can approach that bank, and if you want to take loan from some other bank, that's also possible. But SBI is something which usually people prefer because it's in the same campus itself, and the loan process is very easy. And there's another mode. So there are two ways. One is the loan, and the other one is an alumni fund, in which some alumni is going to pay your fees for 2 years. But the clause is that once you pass out and you get a job, you will be sponsoring the fees of some of your junior. So you can choose that fund that way as well. I'm not sure if anyone in our batch took that. So yeah, these are the two things. People come to Triple IT Hyderabad despite the fees, high fees, because they feel that it's worth the thing.
Right. So now like you were telling me about like how you manage that fees, you did some internships and also just for the motivation purpose, if you want to share like how you manage that.
Yeah, so as I said that I was doing an internship at Cisco before coming to IIIT Hyderabad, so I had some of my savings from there. With that, I paid my first semester fees, and then you can sit for summer internships which happen in the campus for MTech, BTech, every branch. But there's a clause that it's unofficial kind of. It's not much spoken within the campus, and the professors they do not want your internship preparation to get in the way of the academics. That is how I would portray. So you can set in summer internships. I got an internship at Samsung, and that's from where I got the pre-placement offer. So you can get that summer internship, and in my final semester as well, I did a remote internship at a stealth startup, because it's not possible to do an in-office or on-site internship during your semester. So you only get a break of 2 to 3 months after your first year of MTech, and that's when people go for summer internships. And apart from these internships, I also got a Reliance PG scholarship, which is provided to 100 masters students all across India. So you can check that page as well. So you can claim up to 6 lakhs in that scholarship. So our fees was more than that, so I didn't have to do much of work, and I was able to claim the entire 6 lakhs, and that funded my entire. And plus you will be getting the gate stipend. So there's one thing which I want to mention, that in certain IITs, you have to do the TA-ship work in order to avail the stipend of 12,400. But in IIIT Hyderabad, it's not mandatory. If you want to become a TA for some course, please go ahead. But you don't have to mandatorily do it in order to get the stipend. So, for example, I never did a TA-ship in any course, but I was still getting that stipend.
Okay, that's really great. Now coming to life at IIIT Hyderabad. So how is the academics and overall life at IIIT Hyderabad?
So the first semester is it's pretty hectic. Once you get into college, both MTech in CSE and CSIS folks, They have the 4 mandatory course which they are going to take. Then from the second semester onwards, you have the flexibility to choose the courses which you want to take. So it's completely up to you how hectic you want to make your semester. You have a choice of taking very hard courses. You learn a lot, but you won't. It will be tough to get marks in that. And then you have a choice to get marks, but you won't get to learn a lot of things in those courses. So there's a trade-off, and you have to decide which path you want to choose. Usually try to keep a balance, because the CGPA is also important for your placements. You can't ignore that, and you don't want to take all the 4 courses hectic. So we usually used to take like 2 or 3 heavy courses and 1 light courses, so that we can manage the this thing. And apart from that, the campus life, I would say there are a lot of different clubs. I was involved particularly in a lot of clubs. I was choreography lead of the dance crew. So it depends on you how much you want to involve yourself. So I have never been the kind of guy who will just be into academics. So even there's a bridge, or I would say there's a gap between BTech and MTech folks. You just get to spend 2 years in which most of your time is gone into settling down and then sitting in the placements. So I would say try to explore as much as possible. Opportunities are there, of course not as much as IITs. You have a lot of events going on, as we mentioned. Like she has been attending 2 events in the last 2 weekends. So that's not the frequency which will get in IIIT Hyderabad, but definitely there are opportunities. You can involved in a lot of activities. It completely depends on you. There are certain people who just want to get involved in studies, so it depends on you. I personally enjoyed my 2 years. I was involved in a lot of things. So yeah, it depends on you.
Okay. And now coming to the important thing, like most of the people are aiming for Triple IT Hyderabad because they want a good placement. Okay. Now, so can you tell me like how are the placements at Triple IT Hyderabad compared to IITs? Like most of the people who are preparing for Triple IT Hyderabad, they just somehow messed up in the gate examination because of exam pressure or time management or something on that day. But still, like if they want a good placement at the end, so how are the placements at Triple IT Hyderabad?
Yeah, I won't sugarcoat things over here, because this is an important uh, aspect which should be discussed, and it should be people who are coming to triple IT, they should be well aware of it. And it has not been spoken a lot on YouTube, but since I was the placement coordinator myself, I want to shed light on this topic. So definitely it's one of the best colleges if you want to get a decent placement. If you feel that you have not been able to perform well in BTech, since I mentioned the coding culture is really great, it's even better than most of the IITs in India. You, by the time you will be sitting in placements, you are well prepared enough. I've seen people who didn't write a single line of code before coming to triple IT in my batch itself, because they were theoretically preparing for gate, but they were able to be prepared by the time placements arrive. And the main clause that I was mentioning about, the placement cell was not very supportive. There are certain flaws which I believe it's there in every college. It must be there in IISc as well. So I, in my particular batch, I had to face a lot of things. There was not a lot of support provided by the placement committee, but we had a meeting before leaving the campus when I left, and I put my word and my feedback to the placement committee. So since then, this year my junior batch, the placements have improved drastically. The support to the placement coordinators has improved, which I believe is a good thing. So by the time you guys, whoever is watching this video, you get into Triple IT Hyderabad, things are much more better. The only reason the flaws came out in my batch was because before our batch, the market economics was very good. Companies were willing to hire good numbers, but in our batch, the economy drastically dropped, and that somehow brought out the flaws in the system, which have been cured a lot. So yeah, you will get a decent placement. I would say the placements at Triple IIT Hyderabad is, if not better, then at par with the top 5 IITs and IISc. So you'll get a lot of support, and there has been a, so a lot, I got a lot of queries that whatever data is being shown on the placement website, is it true? I was the placement coordinator. I have drafted those numbers. Everything that's written on the website, it's true. None of the numbers are false, so you can trust them. But I won't say trust the average package, because if a person is getting 60 lakhs and one is getting 10 lakhs, the average will lie around 25 30. So don't go with that numbers, go with the median package. And now in the industry, I feel the hiring is coming back, so I think you should be good to go.
Got it. Now, like, since you completed your MTech from IIIT Hyderabad and now you're working in Amazon, looking back, do you think it was worth it? This PGEE exam was worth it?
Definitely, if I can go back and if I have a choice, I'll attempt it again. There is no doubt the learnings that I've had in 2 years, the courses that I explored, I went ahead with courses on databases, machine learning. So machine learning was something which I was very afraid of because I didn't explore. But you get to know the fundamentals. The professors are really supportive. Of course, there will be some professors which happen to be in all IITs and other colleges, which might not be that supportive, but overall the learning was exponential. We learned a hell lot. The culture was very good. Everyone who comes at IIIT, they're there to learn, especially in MTech. They want to utilize those 2 years. So you, when you see that someone is sitting for 2 hours, you also want to push those limits, which is generally missing in our tier 3 colleges. So the culture was great. I got to learn academically. I was very strong. I interacted with a lot of folks. I got that tag because of which I, whenever I'm speaking something, I'm listened, I'm heard. And that is a difference which I've felt in these 2 years. And even when I got in the opportunity at Amazon, it was an off-campus opportunity. I was already working in Samsung, and I feel that IIIT Hyderabad's tag was a differentiating factor. I did not apply with a referral as well. In my tier 3, when I was in my BTech, I used to apply with referrals and I never got even shortlisted for Amazon. So I felt that tag was it was worth it. It helped me a lot. And yeah, I mean, if you are prepared for gate, and if somehow things have gone wrong, it's okay. Your preparation is not gone in waste, and you can still prepare for IIIT Hyderabad. And there are all more colleges, IIIT Delhi, BITS Pilani. So yeah, I think it will be definitely worth it.
All right. Now there are some people who just messed up their gate examination because of some reason, and they got maybe around 1,000 or 2,000 rank. Now they are thinking that they will take a drop for 1 year. Again, they will prepare for gate, and next time, like they might go to some IITs or something. So, like personally, would you give some advice for these kind of people? Like, should they drop for 1 year, or should they try for this triple IT Hyderabad instead of like preparing for gate and then going to any IITs?
Yeah, so I feel you can you cannot lie to your preparation. You cannot lie to yourself. So you know how much you have prepared, and if you feel that you have given maybe even 70 to 80% of the syllabus, you have covered with your whole heart, and you can cover the remaining syllabus in the 2 months, which is the gap between gate and PGEE. I would say give it a shot. Do not think about the drop as of now, because even if you want to take a drop, you can think about it after PGEE. So why not give it a shot this year itself? Once you have that drop in your mind, you're not going to give your 100%. So remove that factor from your mind. I see, I have a one-on-ones with a lot of juniors, and they have personally said that since they have removed that thought of dropping, they have been able to focus a lot on the studies. So I would say that if you are prepared well for gate and for some reason it has not gone well, give these 2 to 3 months. It's anyways not going to hamper. It's not going to be harmful. I mean, it's going to help you. Even if you take a drop and you attempt next year 2026, it's going to help you. You're not losing anything. So it's no harm in preparing. At least appear in the paper. Maybe even if you do not, in the worst case, you're not able to clear the cutoff, or for some reason you're not getting the admit, you'll at least get that exposure of how PGEE is. And not just PGEE, there are a lot of other exams, BITS Pilani, IIIT Delhi, as I mentioned. You attempt the papers, and maybe you never know which opportunity might knock your door. So yeah, I won't recommend thinking of a drop right now. Currently we are in Feb, and you might be having this exam in April end, and most of the exams happen in April May. So you have a decent amount of time. Give these 2 3 months, give your best shot. Do not worry about the result. Take it as a no ball. If you're able to hit a free shot, it's good. If you miss it, there's no harm, and you can anyways attempt the paper again in 2026. So do not think of a drop right now.
Yeah, completely agree with Pradyum here. And at the end, would you like to give any tips for the PGEE aspirants?
Nothing as such, but I was in the similar. There might be a lot of folks in this 1,000 to 2,000 rank, so I was there on the other side of the screen 3 years back, and but I never felt that maybe I've lost something. This exam, it might change your career, but it's not going to define you. But you have to take the chances. I took the chance in PGEE, and now I am on the other side of the screen. So maybe you can be 2 years down the road, who knows, you would be in a much better place. So just give your best shot. Do not think a lot about the result. There are a lot of, when you're sitting in a competitive exam, how you perform is does not just matter. How others are performing, that's not in your control. How tough the paper was, there are a lot of factors which finally define your rank. So if it goes bad, that's okay. Do not lose your heart out, it's not the end of the world. So yeah, just prepare well, give your 100% and leave the results on God. That's it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pradyum, for your words and this motivation. I hope this video will help a lot of students. So, thank you so much for your time, and thank you, everyone.